Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night without any explanation? The clock shows 3, 4, or even 5 in the morning, and no matter how hard you try, sleep simply doesn't return. Your mind begins to wander, worry takes over, and the silence of the night feels heavier than ever. But what if this isn't just a coincidence? What if, in fact, this moment is a calling? Many people don't know, but the Bible is full of accounts where God chose the early hours of the morning to reveal his will. It was in the middle of the night that Jacob saw a ladder connecting heaven and earth. Moses received his calling before a burning bush during a moment of solitude. Daniel, while everyone else slept, was awakened by a revelation that would change empires. And now stop and think. What if God is trying to speak to you? Whether it's a warning, an answer, or an opportunity for intercession, waking up in the middle of the night might mean much more than we imagine. In today's video, you will discover the spiritual significance of this phenomenon and learn how to turn this moment into an encounter with God. But first, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because this insight can change the way you view your nights from now on. The early hours have something peculiar about them. While the world sleeps, something in the silence of the night seems to amplify God's voice. Jacob, an ordinary man, was exhausted, alone, and fleeing from his own family when, suddenly, he had a dream that would change everything. He saw a ladder connecting earth to heaven, with angels ascending and descending on it. What does that mean? A direct connection between the divine and the human. Sometimes, when you wake up in the middle of the night for no apparent reason, it may be the exact moment when that connection is taking place. God spoke to Jacob right there in the middle of nowhere. He said that his descendants would be great, that the land where he slept would be his. Now think, how many times have you had a moment when you felt something different upon waking in the middle of the night? It might just be a normal awakening, or it could be a calling to something greater. How many times have we ignored it, rolled over in bed, and gone back to sleep without even reflecting on what might be happening? Jacob woke up and realized he wasn't alone. He named that place Bethel, which means house of God. And next time you wake up in the middle of the night, instead of getting frustrated about losing sleep, ask yourself, is God trying to tell me something? Perhaps it's a sign to pay attention to what's around you. And speaking of signs, there's another moment in history when a man received an unexpected calling. Moses was in the desert living an ordinary life when something unexpected caught his attention. A burning bush. The fire burned, yet the bush was not consumed. Curious, he approached, and that's when everything changed. A voice from within the flames called out his name. Imagine the scene. You're alone in a quiet place, and suddenly something extraordinary happens. Would you ignore it or approach it? The interesting thing is that God only spoke to Moses after he became intrigued by the phenomenon. In other words, sometimes waking up in the middle of the night might be a calling, but you need to pay attention and respond. The first thing God said was, "Remove your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy." In other words, what seemed like a normal moment in Moses' life became a divine encounter. And what if, when you wake up in the middle of the night without explanation, God is preparing an environment for an encounter with you? It might be a time to reflect, to pray, or simply to quiet your mind and listen. But many go back to sleep without even noticing the calling. After that encounter, Moses received a mission to free the people of Israel. But before he could be used, he had to be taken out of his comfort zone. God could have spoken to him anywhere, yet he chose a unique and unexpected experience. What if your awakening in the middle of the night is exactly that, a calling to something greater? Perhaps it's time to view this moment with new eyes. And Moses wasn't the only one to receive an important revelation while the world slept. King Nebuchadnezzar had a disturbing dream. Something inside him told him that the vision was not merely a figment of his imagination, but an important message. The problem? He couldn't remember the dream, which left him uneasy. The wise men of the kingdom tried to interpret it, but to no avail. How can someone explain a dream that wasn't even fully recounted? Then Daniel stepped in. He did what no one else did. He sought God in prayer. And it was during the night, while everyone slept, that God revealed to him the mystery that would change the course of history. Now think, how many times have you gone to sleep with a doubt, an unsolved problem, only to wake up in the middle of the night with a thought that brought clarity? It happens more often than we imagine. Daniel received a revelation because he sought God before sleeping and was sensitive enough to listen. The most amazing thing is that the answer Daniel received wasn't just for him. It was for a king, an empire, and an entire generation. Sometimes, what God wants to reveal to you can extend far beyond your own life. It might be guidance for your family, a project or a path you haven't yet seen. If God spoke to Daniel in a moment of silence, why wouldn't he speak to you? Now that you understand the spiritual significance of waking up in the middle of the night, the question remains, what will you do with it? Will you continue to ignore these moments or see them as an opportunity to connect with God? Many people spend their lives waiting for answers, yet when the calling comes, they simply go back to sleep as if nothing happened. If you want to experience something new, start today. The next time you wake up in the middle of the night, instead of complaining or grabbing your phone, close your eyes and pray. Ask, Lord, I am listening. What do you want to tell me? Perhaps the answer will come immediately, or perhaps it will unfold throughout the day. What matters is that you made room for God to act. Now tell me, how often do you wake up in the middle of the night? Have you ever had a spiritual experience at that hour? Comment below. And of course, if this video helped you, like, share and subscribe to the channel to keep learning about topics like this. See you in the next video.